use of its soft power. So this is how we see Turkey. And this is how Brazil, having in a certain way and in its own region and beyond the same vision of the world, the same perception of international issues, feels very much comfortable and familiar with this growingly important and comprehensive partnership with Ankara, with Turkey.
And let's talk a little bit about cultural affairs. What's the cultural presence of Brazil in Turkey?
Oh, it's relative. We do not have yet, let's say, one Brazilian cultural institution directly destined or aiming at developing cultural projects here. We still operate via the embassy and via our network of consulates, which I mentioned. But in Ankara, we are an active member at the Ankara University Center of Latin American Studies, where Brazil plays an active role together with other Latin American nations who are represented here. So, but that does not prevent special participation in specific programs with the academia, with the university sector, with the cultural institutions, with art institutions. So in music, in in the Beaux-Arts, the fine arts, and through specific programs also with certain universities for exchange of students and things. What happens is that we have, since the beginning of the decade, last decade, envisioned Turkey as a natural partner in our international role. And one of the first proposals the Brazilian government made to Turkey was to have an agreement on abolishing visas. So this makes, we sort of open the doors of both countries, I mean Turks and Brazilians, so that we can know better each other reciprocally. This has resulted into, with the expansion of Turkish Airlines, in the establishment of direct flights to Brazil, between Istanbul and São Paulo, in 2009. 2.5 years, less than 2.5 years after that, we have reached now, Turkish Airlines has 4 frequencies a week. Their flights are economically very viable, and the rate of occupancy in the flights is superior to 80%, sometimes even almost 100% eventually. And so it has been proved to be a good investment. And strategically, I think it responds to the interests of the major strategies of Turkish foreign policy to spread the rayonnement, the area of activity of the country, to beyond its immediate vicinity and its geographical circumstance.
Mr. Ambassador, this brought us to the end of our discussion, but do you have one final message to our audience?
Well, it's a pity, because this talk was being very interesting. I was very pleased with your questions.
Thank you very much.
Which, in a way, gave me the opportunity to, express our great satisfaction with the excellent state of our bilateral relations here. What I'll have to say is that I think that there's nothing better to improve relations between two countries than reciprocal knowledge. So, as we have the infrastructure for flying already implemented by Turkish Airlines, I would make a little commercial for this outstanding Turkish company. So Turks to use more the flights to São Paulo and go to Brazil and visit our country. I'm pretty sure that most of the people will like it. And another point that I forgot to mention when you mentioned, cultural aspects and other aspects of the relations, we have excellent ambassadors in Turkey, who are our footballers and even some in other sports like volleyball as well. But I think that Mr. Alex de Souza is one of the best known Brazilians, if not the best known Brazilian in this country. And he is a very good example of the affinities that so luckily link our countries in a sort of a very deep and fruitful relationship. So with these words, I'd like to thank you very much, Sakin, for this opportunity, and to express my gratitude to the whole crew of Channel 6 News.
Brazilian Ambassador, Your Excellency Marcelo Jardim, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks very much indeed.
That was the Diplomats. Thank you for watching us.